Before we talk about fantasy football, I wanted to go back. We actually skipped over one of our things about killing off athletes. We're not killing them.
Yeah, killing is harsh.
But killing does add to the. I don't want to kill them, but if they did happen to get killed.
Here's the thought process behind it. I mean, Kurt Cobaining sounds a little harsh too.
That's
we don't connotations.
Yeah.
It's not great. But let's be real. I mean, Nirvana was amazing.
They were great.
But his death at a young age, as with a lot of artists, definitely cements a legacy that is impeachable.
Yes.
It makes you forever great, forever untouchable. Because really, here's the thing. I think when you're talking about music artists, I mean, this is the
27 Club.
This is the parallel. Yeah. I mean, like, artists don't get bad when they get older. You just get
become
tired
irrelevant.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get used to them.
Like Rush Limbaugh, or you think of Howard Stern for
Limbaugh.
our mediums.
Oh.
Well, I'm just thinking of guys that were super on top. It's not that their content is worse than it was. It's just that we got it now.
Yeah, we get it. Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I've often
time moves on.
I've often compared Rush Limbaugh to Kurt Cobain, but yes, I feel you.
Well, they're both number one. They both were both on top of the pops.
Both huge in the 90s.
Well, that was just an example of somebody who was doing the exact same thing that they were doing. He's definitely fallen off when it comes to ratings, but was on top of it forever. But just we're over it now. Not that I was ever that into it to begin with.
Yeah,
but,
I would hope not.
But the relevant thing is you think of Leonard Fournette. Like, did he peak too soon? I don't think this guy's going to be great. He's going to be a great NFL running back. I think he's going to be solid. But some people,
after he was averaging 193 yards a game, and was like breaking Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker's records, these like untouchable records that people thought were untouchable at least. If he had disappeared,
yes,
he would be one of the great what ifs.
Yes.
So let's do a few more.
Let's do a few more. Like I've got. You want me to list a few?
Yeah.
I think here's just a couple that popped into the top of my head earlier today.
Okay.
Jeremy Lin. I'm sure that you have that on. If he would have gotten killed in the middle of Lin's sanity,
yeah,
his legacy, I think, would be so much higher than we now know who Jeremy Lin is, and we know that
he's average,
just, whatever. But at that moment in time, a timely death from Jeremy Lin would have been very, very crucial.
And if he had died in a Linsanity way, something crazy like a skydiving accident, why is he going skydiving?
The backboard fell on him when he was dunking the ball or something and broke his back.
Yeah, he tore the rim down and the glass killed him.
RG3.
Ooh, that's a good one.
After the first year, I think if he would have gone down right before the national title game against Texas, if Matt Leinart had went down, I think that would have been...
Before the hot tubs?
That would have been actually a pretty good one. I got Tim Tebow right after he threw the touchdown pass against the Steelers. If a light beam had fallen off, if Jesus Christ himself would have intervened and came down and smashed him right after that game, the Tebow mania would never stop for the rest of eternity.
Oh, well, yeah, if that happened.
There would have been any reconciliation to what Tebow mania was.
If he had gone to pray, you know how he kneeled down and just a beam of light raptured him into heaven, and he was just kind of like, guided. He was guided. I mean, that would be, I think people would still be talking
and
about
my last one, and I think that I think this has to win it, is Tiger Woods. I think if he would have died in that car crash, I think that would have been...
That is the best one.
I think that's the one. Now I would be interested to see what those are some of the best.
Those are unfortunately
timely Kurt Cobaining athletes that I've got.
Those are all unfortunately better than mine, or more interesting. But I mean, there's some obvious baseball ones. The two big ones that came to mind for me are Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry from the Mets, because that team peaked and they were both so young, and they kind of Kurt Cobained themselves, minus the death because of drugs and all sorts of other things. They were heading that way, but those were two guys who peaked at an incredibly young age and kind of never had a career. I think one big one that stands out to me is Mike Tyson. Because Mike Tyson used to come out in all black with rap music playing and just eat people's souls. And it was the most terrifying / just unmissable moment in all of sports. I remember as a kid going to pay-per-views for Mike Tyson fights and just not even understanding why every adult man was like so jacked up. I mean, I kind of knew, but like you like that was the most exciting thing. And before, D'Amato left and before his career kind of unraveled for personal reasons, I think he had one of the highest peaks of any athlete that didn't live up to the peak. So that's one I would pick.
That's a really good one. I can think about Rousey right before this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Rousey's a good one, maybe possibly. I think another good one is Darren Williams.
Okay.
Excuse me. Remember when people used to talk about Darren Williams being better than Chris Paul? Yeah, not so much.
No, not so much now.
So maybe that playoff series after he beat Chris Paul in the playoffs. I think he would have needed to
die in a much more elaborate manner too.
Yeah, I don't think he got far enough, but that was one of my worst ones that I picked.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah.
Is that?
I got some other ones.
Does that conclude?
Your boy Josh Freeman.
He never had a real high peak. That is a real interesting one, but he never had a real high peak. I don't know what his problem was. I had some people at K-State tell me that he was a good guy, smart guy, hard worker, was definitely the leader of that football team. So it was kind of surprising to see him kind of fade like that. Maybe his skills weren't that good. It just seemed as though he wasn't that interested. But from the people that I had that I knew when he was playing for K-State, said he was pretty locked in.
Len Bias is one that's actually true because he did pass away before he got drafted and then passed away. And then maybe like Brady Anderson after that anomaly steroid-induced fueled 52 home run season. If he had just, died of a steroid. Well, it couldn't be a steroid overdose because then people would know it was a
Mark
fluke.
McGwire or Sammy Sosa on their way to approaching 62.
Yeah, that would have been great. But yeah, I think Tiger is the ultimate.
Yeah,
that car crash, we never knew what happened. Squeaky clean image.
He was still
obviously
on top
going
of
to
his
break
game.
every record. Dies in the car wreck. It's never explained.
Of course we all pencil him in for 26 majors,
and we would all think that.
Yeah, and at that time, he would have been on the pace until he was, because you'd have done the math till he was 47 years old, and maybe give him one or two more after that. And it's like 30.
Yeah.
He's like smashes Jack Nicklaus. Now he can't even get in the top. He can't even make a cut.
Yeah, it's not so great.
Also,
and we know about all his weird sex habits, which I don't think has helped his image overall.
But that doesn't. Well, you're right. I guess it does. Well,
because
that story
perfect.
might have ended up coming out though. Anyways, even if he would have died, because you're thinking, why is Tiger wrecking his car in a fire hydrant?
But if he had died, I don't know if his wife would have divorced him, and then we wouldn't even ask the questions.
Well,
maybe, or maybe
true.
we would.
It certainly would have helped. Yeah, I agree. His image would be
a little bit better, probably
locked tight